In this video, we're going to learn about a new step in the data cleaning process. It's about removing duplicates. Duplicate rows can be dangerous when we do analysis. We're going to learn how to highlight duplicate cells. We're going to learn how to manually remove the duplicate cells and what are their limitations. And finally, we're going to learn how to automatically remove these duplicate cells. Now let's get started. Let's look at the following data set. We have the name and income of several individuals. We see that Alice and Bob appear twice. On the income, we see there's a duplicate of $50,000 for Alice and $55,000 for Charlie and Bob. Let's say we want to remove either the duplicate names, income, or duplicate names and income, like in the case of Alice with $50,000. Let's start by doing some conditional formatting. So we're going to select the whole table with Command or Control A, depending on whether you have a Mac or Windows machine. We're going to go to Conditional Formatting, and here we have duplicate values. Let's leave the defaults, and you can see that everywhere that there's a duplicate, either name or income, it has been highlighted in red. We can undo this with Command or Control Z. Let's add a new column, do it in a different way, using this helper column. For this, we're going to use the COUNTIF statement, and we're going to count if the name has a duplicate. So we're going to select column B and make this equal to the first row, and we're going to copy this all the way down. So we can see that Alice and Bob have the numbers of 2, while Charlie has a number of 1. We can convert this into a Boolean by making this value greater than 1. It's going to be true for all the values where the name has been duplicated. We can now select our table and create some conditional formatting to highlight these specific rows. So we can go into highlight cells on the more rules. Let's use a formula. In this case, we're going to make it equal to the first row of the helper column. And we are going to add a $sign just at the beginning of the column. We're going to make this equal to true, and we're going to highlight this in red. So now we can see that the whole row has been highlighted where the name Alice or Bob has been duplicated. Charlie does not have a duplicate, so it has not been highlighted. If we want to highlight where both the name and the income are the same, we can add a COUNTIF statement and do the same thing with column C and make this equal to the first value, which is C2. Let's copy this all the way down, and we can see that only Alice with $50,000 has been highlighted. We can now make this into a table, and then we can filter, for example, for the helper column where the values are true. And once we have that, we can delete a specific row so we no longer have the duplicate. Let's undo this and go back to our original table. Let's delete this helper column. Let's figure out a manual way of removing our duplicates. We can select our whole table with Command or Control A. Let's go into Data. And we can go into remove duplicates. We can do it by the name, the income, or both. Let's select the name. And when we click on OK, it tells us that 2 duplicates have been removed. And we are left with only Alice, Bob, and Charlie, regardless of their income. The first appearance is the one that got removed. We can do the same thing with income, and it leaves us with the $50,000, $60,000, and $55,000 for the first appearances. Or we can do this for both name and income, and this removes only one duplicate, which is Alice with $50,000. A limitation of this manual process is that if we gain a new person, if we're pulling data from, for example, a SQL database, that is Alice with $50,000, this new Alice does not get removed. An automatic way of solving this is using the unique function, where we select all the columns and this is only going to display the unique values for both the name and the income. The advantage of doing it this way is that if we now add Alice with a salary of, for example, $1,000, she appears, but if the salary gets modified to $50,000, it is a duplicate and it no longer shows up in this new table. Here we have described many ways of how to work with duplicates in your data, from highlighting it to manually and automatically removing them.